She was making me sneeze.
If there's like 30 seconds left, you have to seriously almost lay that golem at the bridge for it to actually reach the tower because it's so slow and so easily distracted that it's not going to make a straight beeline for the tower. And even if it does, it takes it like 15 seconds to like gorilla walk over to it. You know, it's a big pain.
That is like a perfect image of what he kind of walks like.
Actually, to be fair, he sachets a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a
lot of shoulders to be a good golem. And Pekka's all hips.
Yes.
You notice that? She's got the...
Yeah, she's got her, like, swing to the side with her big old sword.
Golem is shoulders. A lot of good animations in Clash Royale. So we're going to game 2.
Yep.
Colton, I don't think that was a bad deck, but it's almost like I wish he had...
Bad matchup,
if he had lightning instead of cannon cart, for example,
yes,
I think it would have been more effective because then the Inferno Tower wouldn't have just been like a hard counter to your main...
Right. Or something air, maybe some bats or some minions, just something to distract that Inferno Tower a little bit. You know, so that way the Golem can cross the bridge. He had Zap in there, which is huge help against Inferno Tower. You can reset the damage, but he needed something else. You're right. And that cannon cart, I mean, it just didn't do what it needed to do.
You need like supporting damage because just like freeze, like we've all played freeze, right? If you freeze something like barbarians are coming at my tower, and you freeze the barbarians, unless something's attacking the barbarians, that freeze isn't doing you any good, right?
Yeah.
So same deal. Like you can zap and reset the Inferno Tower, but because the Golem doesn't do that much damage, you need, even if it's just like 2 spear goblins back there throwing spears, it burns down the Inferno Tower 10 times faster than just the Golem like.
And you know what? Another thing is the fact that the E-Wiz is banned. It kind of leaves it open for the Inferno Tower and the Inferno Dragon as well. You can't put the E-Wiz behind the Golem.
And it wouldn't even shock. I mean, I don't think we'll see both in the same deck, but you could because
you totally could.
Because even if he did run Zap or Lightning, if you had both, it's like, all right, cool. You definitely cannot deal with all these things. Yeah.
True. You have to choose what you're going to deal with there. And I think that was just a great prediction by Oxley. He brought that Inferno Tower, and it was a great choice. And, I mean, he knew early in the game, Colton did, like, hey, I've got Golem, you've got Inferno Tower, I can't handle it. I just can't, not with this deck. And like you said, it's a good deck, bad matchup for Colton.
And you know Colton can't switch to Graveyard because it's the other ban, so he's forced to stick with some sort of beatdown deck. Like, I guess he could switch to something like Minor Poison. He did play it earlier to a fair bit of success, but it's certainly not like his #1 favorite best deck. He's much more of a beatdown player. And Oxalate, if you remember, won the spring season with Pekka Battle Ram, like a very control style deck. So it's possible that Oxalate's just going to play anti-beatdown control this whole match and force Colton to either outplay a bad matchup or switch to a less powerful deck.
All right, so it looks like a cycle to start from Colton. He drops the Ice Spirit down, and then we have an Ice Wizard down from Oxley. Ooh, a Minor from Colton. You just called it. All right, so he's chipping away. Oxley kind of living. Oh, snap. The Exo, I like it. The poison comes down from Colton hitting the Expo and the tower, not quite hitting the Ice Wizard, but it looks like maybe he's trying to log for the damage, maybe to push him back into there, but this Expo is locked onto the tower. Won't get too much damage, but certainly a big chunk.
It's so hard to predict Expo damage because even when it has a tiny little sliver of health, it just keeps shooting. It just doesn't die. And it gets that tower down to under 1,800 damage. Oxley says, oops. Not really sure why oops, but here comes Minor plus Goblin Gang coming in. The Ice. Oh, no, the Ice. Okay. Ooh, Ice Wizard kind of gets overwhelmed very quickly, though, and Colton is able to get a little bit of damage onto that tower. I don't know if we're going to see another Expo come out or not. He does get another Expo. The Princess has got to get blocked for, or else he's going to get shot down. There's the Knight. But it's going backwards.
Oh, Princess lives. He does have a log, though, so that's a big help against that Princess.
Yeah, you don't usually, I mean, you can log Princess, but you don't want to because this Expo is going to kill him right away. Oh, and the Minor comes out the back, so he has to log it eventually. But the Princess can usually, the Expo kills Princess in like 3 shots and then goes right back to shoot the tower. So if you can just get that for free, that is the sort of game-tilting plays that an Expo deck could pull off.
Yes.
And the Mega Minion's going to counterattack. I don't know if it's going to reach the tower. Looks like it is going to be ignored. From Colton's standpoint, Oxalate's just going to take down 1 tower, not 2. So getting him to split up his damage anyway is like probably fine.
Yes.
You know what I've noticed is Colton hasn't played Rocket at all. So he's got Poison instead. He's got like Minor Poison. It's Minor Poison, not Rocket. So maybe he's trying to hold the Minor and the Poison for the Expo, but at some point you got to make some sort of offensive attack. You can't just let it happen. That's a good poison right there, though.
Yes, it is. All right, so the knight is tanking for that Expo, taking all the damage, so it doesn't hit the tower. Princess hitting the ice golem, but shuts it down. The Expo doesn't get any damage on Colton's tower.
Very good defense there. That's exactly what you want to do. He used Princess, was actually splashing on the ice golem and the Expo, getting in a little bit more damage in there. Another great poison.
Oh, yes.
Weaken
Look
all
at
of that.
value.
He's forcing a log. Ideally, I imagine, to like a kind of a bad area.
Yeah.
Where, oh, Miner pops up, hits it. Check this out. The Oxalate cycles so quick. He's already back to an Expo.
Nice.
You can just drop another one right here if you wanted to.
That's what he did. As soon as that push was done, Oxalate just dropped another one, keeping the pressure on Colton.
But you don't want to play an Expo first. You want like, wow, there's the log comes through. You want some other support troops. You want the tank out front. You want the Mega Minion already down.
Something to protect it.
Yeah, just because a lone Expo can easily be countered. You sort of need all the support troops so that whatever you play, you just walk into the trap of whatever's already there.
This is kind of a hard matchup once again for Colton because he's having to use his Miner over and over again to defend against his Expo instead of being able to send it into Oxalate's tower. Ooh, rocket coming down.
I think that makes sense though for Oxalate. The longer the game goes on, I think Colton has the good strategy because both towers are pretty low now. Even if Oxalate switches lanes, that Miner poison's going to do really, really well. Skeletons get picked off. I also think Colton has read that there's not a lot of things that can defend his Miner. I mean, Ice Golem, Ice Wizard, like the Skeletons aren't going to work because of the poison.
You know, it's interesting too that he's had rocket this whole time, but he hasn't rocketed the Expo whatsoever. Because I feel like
he doesn't have rocket.
Oh,
Oxalate
I'm thinking
has
the
rocket.
opposite. You're right.
I did the same thing too.
I was like, wait a second.
I thought that. I was like, he doesn't have rocket. Then I was like, oh, it's a Miner poison deck. Yeah.
I'm thinking Oxalate's rocket. Oh, that's a nice push. The Knight tanking for the damage. These Spirit Goblins are at least getting some kind of damage on the tower. And holy moly, look at Oxalate's left side tower.
And Akia gets in the way. He's going to get one more rocket. And here's the thing. If he can just defend the rest of the time and hold off and catch the next Miner, I think he's in good shape because he's just got to cycle back. There's...
He needs one more rocket.
Princess gets down there.
One more
Ice
poison
Wizard
for Colton,
holds the line.
It's going to be a rocket or a poison.
It's a rocket right here.
Yep, I think so. Ah, the Miner comes down, but so does the
rocket. It gets frozen in place.
Wow. Good play.
Two.
Good prediction. That prediction by Oxalate on that Miner. He dropped the Skeletons, he dropped the Ice Spirit, and right on the money, right where Colton's Miner was.
It came down to just catching a Miner.
Yeah,
and
like you said.
It was really tough to do that earlier because you can't just play Skeletons, the poison gets it. But because he was trying to cycle back to poison to win the game, he didn't really have it quite in hand. He was going to play the Miner and then poison after.
Smart choice.
The Ice Spirit jumped on, froze it in place. The Skeletons surrounded it. It really, I think that with a poison, that Miner still would have been able, like the Miner poison still would have killed the tower, but it bought just enough time for the rocket to get out.
Right.
And that's why people like to play Ice Spirit and Skeletons, because it's 2 elixir to cycle 2 cards.
Yes.
In those moments where you have to get back to the spell that's going to win you the game,
yes.
I don't want to play Bats. I don't want to play Goblin Gang. I want to play just Ice Spirit, Skeletons, like Rage. I don't care. Like anything that costs 1 or 2 to get back to the winning card.
And that, you think too, I mean, that's some quick playing as well from Oxalate. I mean, these are things, you're paying attention to so many different things at once in this game because he's focusing on, okay, he has to check his elixir and his card cycle to make sure he can get the rocket on the tower. Also, meanwhile, there's a Miner coming into his tower and he's trying to figure out where is this Miner going, and he hits it right on the money. I mean, beautiful play from Oxalate. Good predictions.
And Oxalate is up 2-0 in this series, just 1 game away from being the defending spring champion to unable to defend his fall title to making it to Worlds anyway. What a roller coaster ride for Oxalate if he can seal this up. Meanwhile, Colton needs to batten down the hatches and win 3 straight games in a row if he wants to keep his dream of going to Worlds alive. Oxalate has been on fire. What's Oxalate's record today?
Oof.
8-1.
8-1.
He lost 1 game to King Zhao.
Wow.
2-0 round 1, 2-0 round 2. Lost the first game to Zhao, wins the next 2 to get through, and now he's up 2-0 on Colton. Has won nearly 90% of his games so far today, and if he wins this next one, he will end the Invitational with a 90% win rate. An absurd record.
Especially in a tournament of this caliber. To come out with a win rate like that, I mean, that just is a testament to how good of a player he is. But I mean, we could definitely see a reverse sweep from Colton here. I think it's definitely possible. I think he's had 2 bad matchups with the decks that he's had. So I think it is possible. I mean, when it comes down to it, but part of it is reading your opponent, and there's effort that goes into that. And Oxalate does a ton of that. But so does Colton. So maybe this 3rd matchup is what he needs.
It is tough to win 3 in a row against anyone. Like, I think you can lose game 1 of a match, doesn't really hurt you, right? We saw a lot of times you lose game 1, then you win game 2, and you're tied up, right? But it is difficult to rebound from a 2-0. Even at the Kings Cup, we saw, you know, Atchin did come back tied up, but it's just tough to beat any player 3 games in a row. I think Oxlade did a really good job with the bans pre-match. I think he won the pre-match aspect of it, and now he's just got to close it out. Both, though, open with pumps, so this is going to be a gentleman's game of Clash Royale, as both of them are pumping up for something real big and scary. What could it be? Could Oxlade be running 3 Musketeers?
Maybe Colton's gone back to Golem again. You know?
Oxlade likes Golem too, so this could even be a Golem matchup. Looks like Colton's playing 3 Musketeers. That's what it looks like to me.
And here comes that Inferno Dragon. We know Ewiz is banned, so it kind of leaves it open for him.
Really good push here for Colton. Oxlade says, oops.
Is that Miner going to turn around? Oh, he does. He goes to the King Tower.
Oh, he said oops because he defensive poison. I thought that was an offensive poison.
So did I.
Yeah, I think it was so bizarre to see it as a defensive poison there. My bad. Yeah, I think it was just a mistake.
Yeah.
He said oops, he's mad.
Yes. Colton, okay. Colton's towers haven't even been touched yet. Oxlade dropping the good game early. It looks like, I mean, you never know what can happen, but this is a very early lead for Colton.
And this is what I think Oxlade, the kind of lead that Oxlade had in game 1 to take that little push there. Now, we said earlier, right, this is the kind of little mistakes that you just hope for. Like, you obviously can't build your game plan around your opponent making mistakes, but at this level, if they do, you have the knowledge and the tools to capitalize on it and push through.
All right, so it looks like it is 3 Musketeers. After all, he drops him in the back. Poison going on the side. He's choosing to take out the pump and the Musketeer instead of going for the 2 Musketeers going on the left-hand side. So who knows what, I mean, I'm guessing Oxlade's last card is probably Golem, and it surely is.
That's a tough, I mean, I like that you're using Golem to tank the Musketeers, but it's just so hard because the minions are on one side, the Musketeers on the other. Like, you don't have anything shooting the Musketeers, so they're just going to kill this Golem. The best thing the Golem might do is blow up between the 2 of them.
Right, but still not take them out.
Yeah, that's a really brutal. Oxlade finds himself really far behind. This might even end up being a 3-crown because you can use so much of a negative elixir trade early on.
All right, so that tower is down. He's already got some troops heading into the King Tower there, but of course, Canacart tucked in the back, shooting away.
Now maybe, okay, I was gonna say, if he drops the Golem at the river because the 3 Musketeers got split, he can focus later on dealing with those 2 Musketeers and instead just go all in right here. The Mega Minion's actually in a good spot, taking out minions 1 at a time. And that Golem is gonna connect along with the Goblins. This might be a tower trade.
For sure it might, but of course Colton is still ahead here.
19 seconds left.
Oxlade's still fighting.
I think, maybe Oxlade should have gone in more of a 3-crown push. But I think he actually might get 3 crowns before that happens.
Yeah, I think you might be right, because he definitely doesn't have...
went in for the base race. Couldn't do it.
Ooh.
Colton, the start of a comeback.
Yes, reverse sweep.
2-1, buddy.
Maybe, wow. Okay, so this is what Colton needed to turn this around. He had a good matchup. He had a good starting hand. I think that that poison, like we said, those mistakes are just make and break in these games, especially at this level. I mean, they don't make many mistakes, these players, but when they do, their opponent knows exactly how to capitalize on it.
That's what happens. I mean, you go, like before the tournament, if you stick your hand in a big jar of hand lotion and then you forget to wash after, you're going to make some misplays.
Yes.
So pro tip, dry fingers when you play Clash Royale. So, I normally do the Buffalo Wings joke, but I've done that about 15 times this season, so we got to mix up. Now it's just dunk your hand to prepare them, and then you forget to wash it off, and they're slipping around. But that's what it was, right? The poison, that defensive poison. I was thinking Colton had a really good push. I was like, man, offensive poison on the elixir collector and all that stuff. But now, normally that would be a really good push, but you'd find yourself behind an elixir. Instead, the push went through, and Oxlade was behind an elixir after taking a bunch of damage, which is not where you want to be.
Right.
Colton, I think, did a good job just keeping the game plan on. Oxlade turned it around, though. Like, did take the tower, but smart move by Colton by just continually forcing the right lane. Like, all right, you can take that tower, but you're not spending any elixir on the right side, so they're essentially undefended and just
go for it. And that's the thing, I think the hard thing for some newer Clash Royale players to learn is that sometimes you can, even if it's a crazy push like that, sometimes you can say, forget that tower. That tower's going down anyways. I'm going to invest all my elixir into a push like that, and you end up with a 3-crown, and that's your guaranteed win. So I think it was a wise choice for Colton.
Yeah, especially with Battle Ram being in your deck, right? That's such a great, like, I'm charging your side. You have to react to this right now or lose your tower. Battle Ram, if ignored, does more damage than a Hog Rider. than a full health Hog Rider, right? So you act like you really have to do something about it. And once he had decided to go all in with the Golem and push for the 3 crown, I think it made it easy for Colton because it's just like a Mega Minion and like a Golem. It's not going to 3 crown you that quickly compared to Battle Ram, Goblin Gang, 3 Musketeers played in the middle, or whatever else out there.
Yeah, and I mean, he was already so far ahead at that point, it was the right choice for him to just say, I'm going for the 3 crown.
And we're going into game 4 right now. Remember, the bans are Graveyard and Electro Wizard.
Yes.
So we cannot see those cards at all in this matchup. Hopefully the players don't forget. I know it's tough in a best of 5. I do not want to see a game lose to bans.
So this, like Rumhand said, is game number 4. So Oxalate with 2 wins under his belt so far, and Colton with 1. So Colton does have to win this matchup in order for it to go to a game number 5 and potentially take the win today. If Oxalate wins this, then he shall win our invitationals and be heading to London.
I think if Oxalate's playing Lava Loon, then I think he's in a really good position to take this game away. Lava Hound is one of those decks that has a great matchup against Hog Rider. Hog Rider will usually take the first tower, but then once it hits double elixir time, you just can't stop the Lava Hound push. We'll see if that's the case. Could be another deck. Could be Golem as well.
Or, oh yeah, Graveyard's bans. No Graveyard.
Looks like it might be the same Golem deck as last time.
Yes, I think so. Seeing that cannon cart, it's kind of a telltale sign now.
So though, early damage lead for Colton as he's black-eyed both top left and top right tower, doing about 500 damage each. Meanwhile, Oxalate does get to his pump, looking like it was really deep in the field. Colton is out of Hog Rider cycle. The Hog Rider's not in his hand right now.
Can't punish.
He can't punish it right away. Instead, he's going to go for the poison instead.
For poison. Cycling back to the Hog Rider. It's great. You know, sometimes it's kind of risky to pump sometimes. But I think Oxalate is one of those players who he understands Colton's hand. Okay, the Hog is not in his hand, because if you pump and you're low elixir and they drop that Hog, you could potentially get punished by it and not have anything to defend against it.
And Golem is the same thing, right? Like you go really low elixir when you play your Golem, and that's why we're seeing this big push. And then look how effective it is, getting it down to triple digits. But that's a lot of elixir spent that's not dealing with the Golem. Now the Inferno Dragon, great solution here. Don't have the Electro Wizard, so you know the Golem's going to be good. Now will the Cannon card lock on instead? No.
Oh, wow. That Inferno Dragon just completely shut that down.
And it does get in range. And remember, the shield resets the Inferno Dragon. That's a new little mechanical change after the last balance update. So that allowed it to get a few more shots. Defensive poison, or no, offensive poison.
Yeah,
finishes off that tower.
He just used that poison, kind of giving it up instead of using it on Oxalate's pump.
And I like this push a lot more because with the offensive poison plus the Mega Minion and whatever, like the Inferno Dragon is just not going to be as strong. Oh, Mega Knight comes down, the last card in the deck. And he has just 25 seconds, Oxalate does, to take that tower. But so far, Colton looks like he is in the driver's seat to push this to a game 5.
Ooh, Oxalate says, good game. We got 17 seconds left in this matchup. Good poison from Colton, getting lots of value on this tower, draining it down. He doesn't even need that second tower yet, but it looks like he is just solidifying his position here to win this match.
And once again, Inferno Tower dictates a matchup. There was no good answer to Inferno Dragon in that deck, and Oxalate should know that more than anyone because he won game 1 like that, right? Using Inferno Dragon to do it, and it came back to bite him here. We are going to go to a game 5, just one game of Clash Royale that I guess unless it ends in a 6-minute draw will determine who is going to London. And hey, I didn't think Colton could do it. You definitely called it. Colton put the grit together. 2 good matchups, 2 well-played events, capitalizing on some mistakes by Oxalate, and he's pushed it to a game 5. We're going down to one last match between them, and I don't know what they're going to play. I can't even predict the outcome. Oxalate looked undefeatable early on, but then Colton has just fought right back. Let's take a look at a replay of the top right tower in that game.
So here it comes. Oh, this is the Hog on top left tower. The Hog comes in with the Goblins and that poison, which was kind of a predictive poison, you know, to go against whatever Oxalate was going to drop against it, and he probably didn't even need it. I mean, because look how healthy that Hog Rider is, just swinging away at Oxalate's King Tower there. And I mean, I think that just really set Colton ahead there. I love the fact that we are going to a game number 5 in the championship of these invitationals. It just shows you they're so competitive.
The last event we did, the King's Cup. Together.
Game number 5.
We went to game 5 as well.
That is such a good point. This is the exact same thing. All over a game, best of 5 with a reverse sweep coming in.
And we did it as well in the North American finals, we at least pushed it to a second.
Yes, the second best of 5.
Second best of 5. So we are just one game away from terminating the champion. I don't need my notes anymore. It's pure Clash Royale gameplay from here on out. Colton v. Oxalate for a chance to get off of the 2017 Heartbreak team and into the World Finals. Loser gets a puppy.
Loser gets a puppy. You're welcome. Whatever kind of breed you like, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll do anything to make you happy after this invitational, because that's got to be a huge disappointment to lose. So really, mental toughness, put your grit on, and you have a chance to come all the way to London. To compete for that prize, to be even. Here's the thing: World Finals are World Finals. Like a lot of tournaments, you gotta win, but Worlds are one of those things where you don't even have to win to be happy. If you finish top 4 in the world, top 8 in the world, you go top 4. I guess I'm gonna walk home with like 20 grand, and the fact that I'm one of the 4 best Clash Royale players to ever exist, pretty good. It's not a bad place to be.
For this next matchup, I am racking my brain trying to think, what are they going to bring for this matchup? We've already seen such a variety. I mean, we've seen Hog Riders, we've seen Golems, we've seen Miners. And this is a moment where, because you've already played 4 matches against each other, so you've already seen what kind of decks they've brought to the table. So I'm sure in their minds, you're trying to decide, all right, what are they going to bring, and what can I do to counter them?
I'm surprised there's been 0 Three Musketeers. I mean, I guess neither player really plays it as a primary deck, but having watched some of the other regions, Three Musketeers is an immensely popular deck, a very powerful deck, something that...
We did see Three Musketeers with the Battle Ram deck. Colton.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, good. Well, then, hey, more of that, because I feel like that... Oh, you're right. That's the one that, yeah, you're right. Oxalate made the defensive poison mistake in that game anyway, so you're right. Okay, I take back what I've said, but point stands is that we haven't seen too much of it today overall. There hasn't been a ton of Three Musketeers today, and in a lot of regions, it's a very, very popular deck. I think if I were here, I would run Three Musketeers because it has a good matchup against anything. The longer the game goes on, the more favored you are. And if you're worried about some of the big tanks, maybe you can just play one of the like P.E.K.K.A. Three Musketeer, Mega Knight Three Musketeer variants. The biggest problem is really the Inferno Dragon. Like,
yes, because remember, guys, E-Wiz is banned. So that is a huge problem, this Inferno Dragon. We've already seen this over and over in this matchup between the two.
Maybe Lightning makes sense. I mean, I know Lightning's not a very popular spell right now, but I think if we looked at the 4 games, I think the winner was playing Inferno Dragon in every game, or at least like 3 out of the 4 games. It's just such a difficult card to deal with on defense when you don't have the E-Wiz reaching across with his board. Yeah, so... I would at least try to look at it, or maybe as bad as it is, if you played like Golem with Rocket or Lava Hound with Rocket, if they play Executioner or Inferno Dragon, you can rocket it for a negative elixir trade, but at least your offense works. Like, at least your deck works at that point.
Right, you're getting rid of something that sits behind whatever their tank is and just gets so much value. And sometimes you have to do it. You're like, forget about this, I'm rocketing that thing.
Yeah, I mean, it got Godslayer to the Spring North American Finals. His Lava Rocket deck, the Rocket was there solely because Execution.
Yes. Okay, here we go, you guys. Match number 5 between Oxalate and Colton. Whoever wins this is heading to London for the World Grand Championship Finals.
He goes in for an early punish. The Log's going to come through and knock out some of them and hit the Golem. Battle Ram comes out for defense. It looks like Oxalate is playing Miner, Poison. Colton looks like he's running Three Musketeers.
Yep, I would assume you are right.
So who's favored in that matchup? That's a tough one to say.
I know. It depends on how they play, I suppose.
Colton's got to be really happy that he blocked that first Miner, because if that Miner had gotten onto the tower and destroyed it, that would be, I think, a favorable position for Oxalate. But Colton did get out a pump, and he's got a second one out already.
All right. So I think in a matchup like this, sometimes it's almost beneficial to wait until double elixir to play those Three Musketeers, just because you are investing 9 elixir as soon as you play them. Or not. That's cool, Colton.
Well, I think he did it because there was no like punish coming right after.
Though.
Ooh, that tornado's not going to work.
Is he going to pull him in the same lane? It does.
So now Log Princess can take them out. That is a really good play for most spell-bait decks, but the Princess gets turned around. Is the Log going to be effective? Log does come down, but unless there's splash damage, it's not really as good.
Connect? It's not turned onto the Battle Ram. Oh, the Battle Ram just barely does not connect because of that Goblin Gang. Great zap, though. Oh, look at this
Musketeers!
Holy moly, Colton.
Colton, W83, 1 minute and 20 seconds into this game, takes down Oxalate's tower, and he's looking to complete the reverse sweep 3 games in a row after being down 0-2 to punch his ticket to the World Finals. He would be Team Queso's only representative, I think. I could be wrong about that, but I know that they expected to have a lot more players out of the European region. It was a disappointment for the team when he didn't make it in the North American Finals, so now Oxalate has to really turn up the heat. He has a minute left to turn this around.
Colton did very well with this deck in the earlier games that we saw in this matchup, and so I think it was a wise choice for him to bring it back. I mean, if it's working for you, then go for it. Stick with that.
Yeah, there's no reason to like out-psych it. So here, Zap comes down and hurts it. Tornado's pulling a lot of this away. And I don't.
Oxalate's Tornado.
Oh yeah, so I'm not really sure if I don't think he can even do 1,400 damage. Like, I'm trying to think. Literally, he'd have to have like almost an undefended push, and because Colton always has the opportunity to just drop 3 Musketeers in the middle, it's going to be really, really hard for Oxalate to pull off. He's got
20 seconds. He has got to like get a quick push. I think his best bet is going to be to something like drop the miner, drop the smaller troops, and let them kind of come into the tower while the miners hit. But with 10 seconds, I think this is going to be good.
Colton is just 5 seconds away from going to the World Finals. After a disappointing fall season, he wins the 2017 Invitational. Colton, W83, from the heart of Texas to the beaches of California. Next stop, London, England. You are going to the Copper Box Arena to compete for the World Championship. What a turnaround in the final.
Sweep. Colton with a reverse sweep. I'm so impressed. I mean, he brought back a deck. I think it was a wise choice for him. Like I said, he played that deck earlier. He did super well with it. He dominated that game against Oxalate that he played, and he brought it back for the last game here, and it worked for him.
That is an insane finish. I could not expect anything better. We had sweeps in the first round, best of all game 3s there in the semifinals, and of course the finals went to a 5-game series where Colton Wall is your invitational champion. He defeated Azili's Games, who won 3 of the heats, finished 2nd at the King's Cup. In the next round, he defeats So King, winner of multiple European live events and another top 8 competitor at the King's Cup. In the semifinals, he defeats the Latin American spring champion Achen and 2nd place finisher at the King's Cup. Slices his way to the spring North American champion Oxalate, who he defeats in 5 games in order to win the Invitational. Oh, I couldn't. Who bet on Colton? Who just won a Google Home from Clash with Ash?
Wow, I can't believe that. I mean, that's so impressive for Colton. Good for him. So he's going to be competing now live. He's just got his slot set for London, Copper Box Arena, December 3rd, you guys.
The camera crew's going wild. They were rooting for Colton. I asked who was rooting for Colton. They're like, us. So,
arms are up.
Yeah, so I mean, that's great. A lot of fans, and I can only imagine what Twitch chat and YouTube chat is doing right now.
I'm sure it's blowing up right now.
So congratulations, Colton.
Yes.
You have won a ticket to the World Finals. We will see you in just a few short weeks, joining your North American compatriots, Music Master and C. McHugh, and of course, 13 other players from around the world.
It's going to be a matchup. I mean, we've never had anything like this before for this Crown Championship for the world, and I just cannot wait to see it. This is going to be some true competition. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, that's going to do it for the 2017 Invitational here from Burbank, California. Thank you so much for staying with us through the Crown Championship Global Season. The last event of the season for us is the World Finals. We'll see you there. Thank you for watching. Rumham, BBXH, we're signing off.
Bye!